Hello, beautiful people. Welcome to PM Personality Profile. My guest tonight, he has a lot of passion for agricultural development. I guess we'll be talking a lot more about food today. His former member of parliament for the Kwadaso constituency, Dr. Owusu Afriyie Akoto, currently Minister for Food and Agriculture. Remember, he's also a cabinet minister. Good to see you, Doc. So how have you been? What have you been up to? I guess making efforts to strengthen the planting for food and jobs.
Oh yes, we've been at it for 5 years now, and the program is getting more and more matured. 2020, I couldn't go to the field because of the COVID, but last year when I went, I was really surprised at the maturity which has come to the program. And this time is the beneficiaries telling their stories about the success of the program, how it's transformed their lives, and the new bottlenecks which are emerging because of the success of the story. So it's consolidating the gains of planting for food and jobs, and also trying to attract investors, both local and foreign, into the new areas, opportunities that have arisen because of the success of the program.
You are very passionate about agriculture, and you indeed have indicated how much you want growth in that sector. Where are we now?
We are on a very sustainable path of growth on the field. The constraints now are to do with the value chain down the line, which is basically marketing, processing, and all those other things which add value and create more quality jobs and all of that. And that is where we need investment. You may have heard that last week the former British Prime Minister, Right Honourable Tony Blair, was here in Ghana with a group of investors. Jointly with local investors, we had addressed them about the opportunities coming down the value chain, including processing. I'm talking about primary processing of, say, paddy rice into milled rice, packaging of these, marketing, advertising, and all that. These are the quality jobs that can be created and the wealth created down the value chain. So we are desperate for investment in these areas. Next week, I'm in Dubai at the Expo 2020 to meet investors, to convince them to come to Ghana with their money to invest in the new opportunities in agriculture. So I'm drumming it around the world to see how best we can do it.
Oh, that's great. I'm sure aside people knowing you for a Greek, people really want to know who is Dr. Owusu Afriyie Akoto.
I'm Owusu Afriyie Akoto, born in Kumasi to my father, Bafo Akoto, of blessed memory, and Gladys in Japan, who now lives at the age of 94 in her hometown in Koforidua.
And you were born in Kumasi?
Yes.
Is that where you grew up?
Yes, I've spent all my life in Kumasi. I went to primary school at St. Joseph's Primary School in Ashanti New Town. Then went on to Opokora Secondary School for both my O-level and my A-level.
Okay.
After that, I came to Accra to the University of Ghana, Mensa Saba Hall, Faculty of Agriculture, and gained my bachelor's degree, BSc, Bachelor of Science in Agriculture after 4 years of study. Then I proceeded then to Cambridge University in England, where I did my master's degree and a doctorate degree, all in agricultural economics.
Wow.
So I am a farmer's son, and I'm proving that through my both academic and my careers.
There's no two ways about that. But let's look at growing up in Kumasi. Which area specifically?
Ashanti New Town.
Ashanti New Town.
If you come to Ashanti New Town and you ask anybody where's Bafo Akoto's house, you will see it. Because in the 50s, it was the headquarters of a great party, National Liberation Movement, which my father founded and led in the pre-independence struggle. So it's a very popular house, and now we have displayed his photograph in front of the house, so you can't miss it.
How was growing up like?
Growing up,
especially as a son of a politician.
Yes, in fact, growing up, you know, houses was full of people all the time. And all the famous people at the time were coming to my father, the J.B. Dankwa, Dombo, Bozia. They were in my father's house. And then downstairs and on the streets were loads and loads of people. So when I started primary school, class 1, we had to be taken to the school. It wasn't too far away from us, St. Joseph's. Okay. It's only about 10 minutes walk from from our house. But we still had to be guided because we were protected. And all the strives and, you know, there were times that we had to close the school and everybody had to go home because there was some fight somewhere, you know. And we didn't understand what was going on at the time. But later on, we got to know what it was all about. It really made me conscious of the political situation because my father, for instance, would travel to the north. The first time I went to the northern part of the country was my father and my mother traveling in a convoy, and they took me because I was not yet school-going age. I was about 4 or 5. And I remember traveling hours and hours and hours, and it's all savannah, you know, tall grass, and you don't see anybody. And that was what was imprinted in my mind. So towns like Savelugu, Kumbungu, where he went to rallies and met people with the Northern People's Party and all that. When I was growing up, it was like very familiar names. So later on, when I grew up and when I went to the north and saw these towns, I was really taken by them. You know, it was like a very familiar name. So it was very fascinating. So it you know, meeting people, traveling around as a young kid with your parents and loads of people, it gave you the impression that there's something happening. But that's something you were not sure because you were too young. And later on, and of course, you know, we had brushes with the law, even at that age, where I remember one day I used to stay with my mother across the road from my father's house. And somebody had come to park one of these little trucks. Apparently, they had been involved in some political fight. So the house was surrounded by police. They searched. One morning we got up and the whole place was swarming with policemen. And they took everybody in the house, including us. I was about 4 or 5, I remember. And there was the landlord's son, who was about my age. Kay is the name. They took us to the Central Police Station. And I remember this lady in plain clothes coming to us every now and then you want chocolate? We said yes. You want this? So she was very playful. Oh, what? You brought some toys and this, and then eventually asked us, "Do you know who brought the car to the house?" And we burst out crying because we've been told not to say anything.
But did you even know who brought it?
No, we didn't. But here we were at the Central Police Station in Kumasi, you know, and all the people in the house were being interrogated, including poor me.
5-year-old boy.
So we had brushes like that.
And,
you know,
and then after you burst out crying, they had to let you go?
But then they came back, this lady came back, oh, you want some, what do you want to eat?
Cookies.
Corned beef. Then they brought corned beef. And we ate with some bread and stuff. And then she thought that we had calmed down, so she came to us again. Did you see anybody around? We burst out crying. But it was all an act, because we've been told not to say anything. Whether you saw it or you didn't see it, don't talk to anybody.
So that was our way. Was a strategy. Interesting. And your mom, was she also a politician?
No. My mom, you see, I come from a very traditional Ashanti family. My father is a chief, so he had the 2 wives. And then in addition to the 2 wives, he had other wives, like my mom, who came from New Jersey. And they met in Akwamu when the old man was going as head of delegation to thank the coastal chiefs for entertaining Otufo Asantini, Prempeh II.
Yeah.
So I got married, brought her to Kumasi, and we were there. And there were 2 or 3 others. So, you know, it was a huge family. I had 36 brothers and sisters. I'm the number 18.
Wow.
Yes, so you can see that
a big family.
it's a huge family. Yes.
Okay.
So up to now, of course, we've grown. We've had our families and our grandchildren and all that. So it's one huge family that we come from. Yes.
Wow, quite interesting. So from that school, from primary school,
St. Joseph's Primary School,
St. Joseph's, and then to
Opokuwari
Opokuwari
Secondary School.
What did you study?
I studied, you see, that time it was very liberal. Everybody had to study 6 subjects, whether you are doing science or arts.
Okay.
So for my O-level, I did biology, chemistry, then I did history, geography,
Okay.
then I did English literature. Okay. So there are 6 core subjects that you study. Yes. So the difference was whether you studied history or geography or literature. Everybody studied literature.
Okay.
Either you did physics or you did history or geography. That was what delineated the art students from the science students. But everybody did both.
Okay.
So, and I think that kind of liberal education has great benefits.
Okay.
You don't specialize too early in your life. You have a taste of everything. So you grow up to be a well-rounded, knowledgeable person.
Yeah.
And I think there's a lot to be said for that.
Wow. Okay, so from St. Joseph's to Opokuwari. And of course, everybody have their unique stories from secondary school. What's your own unique story?
I entered the gates of Opokuwari at the age of 13.
Wow.
And it was my most enjoyable educational experience and very successful. First of all the boys who chose Opokuwari that year in the common entrance around the country, I came third.
Wow.
So automatically I had a scholarship.
Uh-huh.
And secondly, they were experimenting with 4-year O-level instead of 5 years. So 16 boys were chosen from 2, including myself, to join the class which was preparing for the O-level. And in other words, from 3, we went straight to Form 5 to join the group which was preparing for the O-level. And in the mock exam, in the arts division, I came first.
Wow.
So these for me were great academic achievements. And they were achieved not because I was a bookworm. I really enjoyed the social life in Opokuwari.
Okay.
As a young teenager, meeting other teenagers, the discipline that were instilled in us stay with me till today, the habits that were formed, all aspects of what I consider to be training boys to be men, to be responsible, the ethics, religion. Opokuwari is a Catholic, well, that time it was a Catholic boys' school.
Okay.
And religion, study of religion, ethics, and all were very central in addition to everything. And really, as a teenager, it formed my habits and my attitudes towards other human beings.
Okay.
So I think that 4 institutions that I attended, these 4 institutions are St. Joseph's Primary School, St. Joseph's School, then I went to Opokuwari, then to Legon, and then to Cambridge University. But of all these 4 institutions, Opokuwari had the most influence on me.
On you, wow.
A whole lot of things. I mean, the friends that I have, most of them go back to Opokuwari school days. So, and then the habits when I have to get up in the morning, every Sunday I have to go to church, and I'm a member of Christ the King Catholic Church. So it's something that is very has had more influence on me than any
Other
academic institution, education
What
institution.
kind of a student were you? Studious, adventurous?
Oh, I wasn't that adventurous.
Inquisitive?
No. I would say that I complied with the regulations.
Okay.
I wasn't a bad boy.
Okay.
But then I had a lot of fun.
Okay.
You know, I wasn't the type which will sneak away into town without exit. I won't do that.
Okay.
I'll go and get my exit. If they say 9 o'clock, 3 o'clock we should go to bed for siesta, I'll go to bed and get up at 5:30.
Okay.
You know, so that's the kind of person that I was, and I was very serious with my studies, but I also had a lot of fun. I wasn't very sporty, you know,
Okay.
because even in those days I still had my asthma, so it really didn't encourage me to do outward, outdoor sports very much, like football, athletics. No, I wasn't good at those.
Okay.
But I was a big cheerleader for the school teams when we went out to Kumasi Stadium to compete with other secondary schools.
Yeah.
I was very, very cheering my team.
That means you never got into any trouble in school?
No, not really. I mean, looking back, I rather got into trouble with some of the students because when I became a prefect,
Okay.
I wanted to make sure that everybody complied.
A school prefect?
School,
general school prefect?
Yeah, I was a dining hall prefect
Okay.
when I got to sixth form.
Okay.
The last year of my sixth form. And I was very strict. I wanted everybody to comply, and I couldn't understand why anybody would want to break the rules.
They say the dining hall prefects, they like food.
Yes, well, I mean, that's why I'm a minister for food and agriculture. Maybe that's the reason. But at the time, that was fairness from my mind.
So you were in charge of the food?
Yeah, 3 times a day I was controlling over 360 boys. I mean, can you imagine?
Interesting. So they got into trouble, I mean...
With me, because they thought I was too strict and all that, but not with the authorities.
Okay.
I was with the authorities trying to bring discipline to the school rather than the reverse. Yes.
Wow.
The only thing I did which actually defied regulation was every week we had to go on a long run around the villages of Opokwari, those days Santasi and all those. And every time they knew that I'd be amongst the last.
Yeah.
Then I've had this friend of mine who came up with the idea that, but why are they first and we're always last? So we decided that we were going to cut across. So when we came back to school, the sports master was very surprised to find that we were 5th and 6th. So he investigated and found out that we cut corners. You know the punishment?
No.
We were to write 3,000 words. Shortcuts are dangerous overnight. So the whole night we were there, shortcuts are dangerous. So I remember this very well. And I decided that's it. I'm not going to break any school.
Who were your friends in school?
Friends in school on the Pokuare. I had quite a lot of friends. Quite a lot of friends, both in my dormitory and in the other dormitories. And of course, Pokuare was full of Ashanti New Town boys, you know, my neighbors at home, our parents, and all that. So it was a big family.
Quite interesting. But your father was a farmer. Was he a farmer?
My father was a cocoa farmer.
A cocoa farmer.
In fact, that's how I came into agriculture.
Agriculture.
Because he was farming cocoa with his friends on going to the border with Ivory Coast in Mem, when they then brought out the region. And every Christmas, he would pack us all into buses and we'll go and spend some time on the farm.
Cocoa farm. Okay.
And what fascinated me was the fact that he would actually, apart from, we'll be in the village. He has his bungalow where we all were.
Okay.
But he would actually take us physically to the farm, which wasn't too far away.
From the bungalow.
And what fascinated me was the fact that you had these trees lined up, going long way, you know, regular distances. And the trees had formed a canopy. Okay. And the leaves had fallen. Okay. So there was a carpet on the floor. Okay. And that is, I would run and run under these cocoa trees, you
Oh,
know.
goodness.
And I
You
was
had
saying to
fun.
myself, when I grow up, I'd like to be like my father, to own such a plantation, you know. And that is it. I
Do you
mean,
own one now?
well, yes, I have a few.
Okay, cocoa
Yes.
farms?
No, well, not only cocoa, but all kinds
Other-
of, I mean, I have mangoes, I have coffee. In fact, if there's anybody in Ghana who produces more coffee than myself, I haven't come across yet.
No wonder you worked at the
International
International Coffee.
Actually, that's the influence.
Okay,
From the International
we'll
Coffee
talk about.
Organization,
Okay,
I came to Ghana, and
and you
having
decided to
worked around the world on coffee, in coffee-producing countries, I thought that I would encourage coffee in Ghana.
we'll talk about your experience at the International Coffee Company because I love coffee.
Oh, right.
I do.
Okay.
So maybe you take me to your farm one
Yeah,
of
that's
these
right.
days.
And
But
you will never
so-
come back. You see? It's so lovely, you know.
I can't
so
wait for
nice.
that.
Yes, yes.
But so from Opokowari, then you came all the way to the University of Ghana.
Ghana,
You could have
yes.
gone to KNUST, which is
Well,
also in
at
Kumasi.
the time, the professor, the dean of the Faculty of Agriculture in Tech, Professor Chumberma, was a very good friend of my father.
Okay.
So my father knew that that's where I was going to go, but I had other plans.
Okay.
I thought I'd been born in Kumasi, gone to school, and
Yeah.
it's time for me to
Change
explore
environment.
the world.
Okay.
So by the time he realized, unbeknown to him, and applied to Legon, they had taken me on, and I moved to Accra.
He didn't
without
have
his
a
knowledge.
problem with, without his knowledge.
Yes, yes, but then when he heard that I had gone to Legon, he came looking for me at Sabaho. So it was okay.
It was okay.
And I never regretted that, you know, because I came and I met all people from all kinds of backgrounds and around the country and beyond Ghana. And that was another story altogether, you know. 6 of us who loved Beatles and all those things and nightclubs. We found ourselves together from different regions of the country. And we called ourselves the Wagon Brothers.
The
And when the wagon was moving, you'd be amazed. You know? We come into town, have fun, go back to
The
conference.
Wagon Brothers.
Brothers, yes, that's what
Okay.
we called ourselves.
Yeah, I wanted to find out, did you have a nickname back then in secondary school?
Oh, yeah, Big T.
Big T.
Yes.
How did you come by that?
Well, you know, my Christian name is Anthony.
Anthony, okay.
Yes. And so it was, you know, from Opokowari, it was Big Tony. Then
Tony,
it
yes.
became
Big T,
So up till
okay.
now, most of my friends, that's how they. And my nieces and nephews, that's what they call me.
They call you
Uncle T.
Big Oh, Big T. Okay, and then at the university you joined
Yes,
the what?
the Wagon Brothers.
The Wagon Brothers.
Yes, there were 6 of us, you know. A Fanti, a Ga, and Eve, and Ashanti, myself. And it's amazing, as if we were just brought together. And we're still good friends. You
Wow.
know. We've lost 2 of them. You
Okay,
know,
so 4 of you
yes,
now.
Yes, and one just retired from University of Ghana as a professor.
So what were you doing? What was the Wagon Brothers all about?
Well, it was fun. I mean,
Okay.
we come into
A
town.
fun club.
Yeah. We went to afternoon jams. We went to evening dances.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, I mean, it was great.
You really had fun.
But we still had to study.
Ekwafoho, you
No,
said?
Sabaho.
Sabaho.
Mensa Sabaho.
Okay, how was life on university campus?
Those days were really pampered. I mean, you had to come and sit for someone to come and serve you.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah, 3, 4 course meal. And you had
Wow.
a choice. I want this or that. 4 course meal. You know, lunch, dinner, and then the breakfast. You'll be amazed. I mean, we started. We were served. And then when you have the whole day, the whole dinners, you have to be in black tie and all those things. You know, it was a wonderful time. And then on top of that, they gave you money, allowance. You know, that was the money we were using to have fun in Accra. You see. Yeah. So,
I guess you never had challenges. I mean, financial challenges and those. You never had any.
No.
Whilst,
Yeah, because I mean, I come from a privileged
I think a cocoa
family.
farmer is already rich. Talk of becoming a politician as well. So yes, I mean, you didn't have challenges. So after University of Ghana, Then you went to Cambridge.
Yeah, we were the first national service. We were the pioneers.
Pioneers of
Yes,
the
so
University
instead
of
of
Ghana.
continuing, we were engaged with government institutions as our national service for the first time. So I went to the Ministry of Food and Agriculture as a national service personnel. And little did I know that one day I'll become the minister there. You know, so for the 1 year, then after that I went off to Cambridge for my master's degree, and for 2 years. And then I joined the International Civil Service, the International Coffee Organization, and then went back 2 years after to register for my doctorate, continuing with the research I was doing at the master's degree level, and eventually I got through.
So at Cambridge, what would you say was the take-home aside the master's and the PhD?
Ancient university, and they have practices going back hundreds and hundreds of years. So we would have, you need to become a graduate, you have to have a residential qualification, which means that you have to live within 5 miles radius of the university church, St. Mary's Church. That's the first thing. I mean, you could go to all the lectures and pass all the exams, but if you haven't satisfied that, you have to have a certain number of dinners in your college to qualify for your degree. So that is how the whole thing was arranged. And there too, you know, you met people around the globe and doing all kinds of research, from space to marine to whatever. And it was very common to talk about the research you were doing. And through that, you acquired knowledge of other areas that you would never even have come across. So it was totally different. And it was unlike the American system or the system here, you didn't have to go to any lecture. You are doing your research. So you've gone past sitting there and somebody teaching you. No.
Okay.
You have to choose your subject area and make a research proposal to your department. If they feel that there's something in it, then they will say, okay, come. And then you can take you 20 years, 30 years. That's not their bother. They are looking for a draft of your research, your dissertation. For them to say, yes, you are in a position to be examined. And then they arrange for experts from around the world to come and sit down with you for you to defend your thesis.
So from Cambridge, then you said after the master's you went to International Coffee Organization and before you went to do your PhD.
Yeah, go
so
back to Cambridge.
At that organization, you were the chief economics advisor.
Yes, I started as an economist.
Okay.
And then I was there for 18 years.
Wow.
So in those days, just like now, commodity prices were going down. Developing countries, that was their main source of income for development. So the general view was that we have to support international prices at a certain level. And if you have to support international prices, it will mean that you need to control production and stocks.
Okay.
So we did research on production, that this country, this is the capacity they have. This year they are going to produce so much. And then we put all of that together, the total supply globally. And then we do research on consumption in the UK, in America, all of that. And we see that there's so much surplus which is going to come on the market. So we will give quotas to each of these producing countries. Keep your stocks. We allow you to export only so much in a way to support international prices. And I was responsible at some stage for ensuring that the stocks, so we did verification. We had to come to your country and count the amount of coffee that you are keeping in stock.
Okay.
We didn't do it directly. We employed a Geneva company called SGS, Société Générale.
Okay.
And they and their agents around the world, we will be. So every year I used to travel to all the continents of the world, you know, and gathering data, analyzing data, discussing with about policy, production policy with government officials. So that's what was, and I used to come to Ghana. Ghana is a member of the International Coffee Organization.
Yes.
Cote d'Ivoire is one of the biggest producers in Africa and all that. So it was a very interesting time. But at some stage, I decided that I'd had enough.
Yeah.
So when the position of the executive director fell,
Okay.
I applied for it.
Okay.
But I didn't get it.
Okay.
So I decided I had to move on to come to Ghana.
And at what point did you work with the World Bank?
Well, those were consultants.
Okay.
I was a consultant to them. I didn't work for them.
Directly?
Yes, directly. I was consulting for them and other United Nations organizations. I was a consultant in and out. Even when I was in Ghana, I still had an office in London that used to take on these consultancies. And I'd employ other people to do the consultancy under my supervision. In some cases, I did it myself. But at the same time, I was establishing my company, Plantations Company, which is the one I'm talking about for coffee and others, which I still have. Yes,
cocoa.
that's right. That's
Okay.
right. And all kinds of commodities that we produce and we sell.
So back here in Ghana, you were CEO of Goldcrest.
Yes.
What actually motivated you? I mean, what did it take for you to decide that I want to come back home?
Oh, I miss home.
Okay.
Home is home.
Home is home.
And there's no better place. And of course, especially when the ban on politics was lifted in 1992 with the coming of the Fourth Republic, I felt that I have a role to play.
Okay.
So that's part of the reason.
You decided to
and
come
then,
back.
Yes, and then I combined that with business by establishing my own companies, Goldcrest Commodities, which is a commodity organization, and then Plantation Resources, which was actually into plantations of coffee mainly, which I took over from Ghana Cocoa Board under liquidation. They tried in the mid-80s to go into establishing cocoa, coffee plantations, and the company collapsed. So they were selling off these assets. So I bought some of them and developed them further, and I'm still doing that.
Dr. Owusu Afriyie Akoto, he's my guest tonight, and he's been sharing insights with us. Remember, he is the son of Bafo Akoto. His father was a politician. He was a chief and a cocoa farmer. Did that have any influence on him wanting to become a politician? He'll be telling us when I return from this break. Also, I'll be finding out from him, did he want to become anything else apart from agricultural stuff? We'll be talking about that, plus family values and lifestyle. Stay with me. I'm coming right back. Welcome back to PM Personality Profile. My guest is Dr. Owusu Afriyie Akoto, and I've been having fun with some of the stories he's been telling me. Let's delve deep into your political career. Where did the love to become a politician come from?
It came from my father's involvement in politics in the 1950s.
Okay.
Where suddenly hell broke and our home became very public, and hundreds of people coming in and out, day in, day out. And the top brass of politicians in the country at the time, J.B. Dankwa, Dombo, and so on, come into our house every now and then to talk to my father. And I was a favorite of my father, so he allowed me to be in some of these meetings.
Oh, wow.
A little boy sitting in front of him.
Listening to their conversations.
Yes. So that really inspired me.
Okay.
That I knew that leadership is something that should come to me at some stage.
Okay.
So that is how I came into politics, from the influence of my father
Even at a tender age?
At that very
You
tender
loved
age.
politics?
Well, not that I loved it. I mean, I thought that was, you see, my father had two lives. He had the life, the traditional life as a chief at the court of Asantehene, a very senior person. And then at the same time, modernity, modern politics.
Yeah.
We have all these other top politicians coming to him.
Yeah.
So no matter where he looked, he was a leader.
Yes.
And growing under his tutorship, yeah, his watch, it was very straight for me. It was natural that, you know, that will happen. It has happened.
And it has happened.
Yes.
Did you want to become something else? I mean, whilst growing up? I mean, every child had this dream, I want to become a doctor, I want to become this. What did you want to become?
From those, what all kids fancy to be engineers and doctors and so on. But because of his influence of his plantations, cocoa plantations, I had it at the back of my mind that whatever I will become, I will be a plantation owner.
Okay. And here we are.
Yes.
You've had 2 terms in Parliament as Member of Parliament for Kwadaso.
Right.
Whilst a Member of Parliament, what would you describe as the highs and lows?
As a Member of Parliament in opposition, 8 years in opposition, the first term was the Deputy Ranking for Food, Agriculture and Cocoa Affairs.
Yes.
The second term as the Ranking Member for Food, Agriculture and Cocoa Affairs.
It's been a Greek all through.
Yes. And I had a theory for my research. But now I was seeing the practice of public policy in Parliament. And of course, because I was in opposition, I was watching the policies of the government in my area of specialization, which is food, agriculture, and cocoa affairs. And I was very critical. Because I didn't think that the government at the time was giving enough attention. Although it is very clear that they were given a lot of lip service as a kind of propaganda. That's how I saw it.
Yeah.
So I knew exactly, combining my theory in my academic research and coming into Parliament in the same portfolio, I knew exactly what I would do if I were to be given the portfolio of food agriculture.
Okay. But you lost the primaries. I mean, why?
No, that's in 2018, 208.
In 208?
2016.
2016.
2015, I lost
yes, you lost the primary, so
yes,
you didn't go
but
for the 2016
you know,
election.
that is the exigencies of politics.
Was it a matter of fear delegates?
Yes.
As Joe will put
yes,
it.
yes. You know, maybe they were just fed up with me. But I mean,
you've done just 2 terms.
Yes, I know. But I'm saying that if you look at my performance in Parliament compared to what was happening in the constituency, it was really not. And now they've regretted it. I mean, that they took the wrong decision. They were given the wrong information. But I'm still very much present in Kwadaso, you know. I mean, I'm still building schools there and doing all kinds of activities because I'll forever be grateful to them.
That's good. So the 8th Parliament has been fraught with a lot of confusion and chaos. As a former colleague, how do you feel about this?
I think it's not right, you know. The prestige of Parliament has come down considerably because of what has happened in the last 1 year or so. You know, I mean, it's all about exchange of ideas and arguments and debates. And if it comes to physical throwing of blows and so on, that is very humiliating, you know. It really brings down the image of Parliament in the eyes of Ghanaians. And this is an institution, it's a bulwark of democracy, the people's representatives.
Yes.
So it shouldn't come to anything of the sort. Apart from debate and counter-debate and putting your views across for others to convince others and so on, it's not right. And Parliament needs a lot to retrieve its image as far as the Ghanaian public.
Probably because of how it has turned into almost a hung parliament, and a lot of people are calling for consensus building. What would you recommend as the way forward in trying to build consensus in that house?
There should have been a standing committee constantly looking, weekends, whatever, looking at how this issue will be resolved. I think that there's a gap in communication which is causing all this. And if we are able to let the two sides talk as brothers and sisters, maybe some compromise will prevail.
A lot of people have had issues with when you explain that we have food security. Indeed, the last time you talked about prices of plantain in the market, a lot of people challenged you because they say it's not so in the major markets. As we speak now, foodstuffs are expensive at the market.
Foodstuffs are expensive everywhere.
Okay.
If yesterday you listened to the world news, U.S. inflation has hit 7.3%, the highest in 40 years. And that's led by food, housing, and electricity. Even the mighty America has been hit by inflation through this COVID. So what about us, a small country like Ghana? I mean, we have to look at the same thing in the UK. Inflation is going up everywhere. In Ghana, inflation is at 13 point something. Okay? So, and the major component of expenditure for the consumer is, of course, food. So it has to be that oil prices are now at $95 per metric ton, per barrel, when a year ago it was only $50. And we are a net importer of these things. So we have to see the realities. In the last 18 months, fertilizer prices have gone up, in some cases as high as 3 times, 18 months, 3 times. Urea from $350 per metric ton, it went as high as $1,250. It's now pegging down, but it's still very, very high. And we don't produce fertilizer in this country. So obviously, when we import fertilizer, it's at a higher price. And therefore the farmer will have to pay for it. And that is all adding to the cost of production and so on. And of course, it means that food prices will have to go up. So it's a natural response to what is happening on the world economy. And particularly in Ghana, we've done very, very well. If you go at the moment to the north, you see a lot of these trucks with foreign number plates crisscrossing, buying food to take back to their countries, because they don't have food. We have food, you know. So, and it's acknowledged by the international community, by our neighbors, that we've done extremely well with planting for food and jobs. And the data is very clear on that. So I don't share the view that because food prices are high, that the supply situation is something else, that food production, you have to go to the north, you see? You have to leave the comforts of Accra to go up to Kumasi and beyond to see exactly what is happening. There's plenty of food in abundance. You go to Western North now, plantain, they're just chucking them away. So you have to look at it in this entirety, rather than to say you are in Accra, so everything is expensive. No, that's not the case.
So we have to face the reality. Right.
Yes.
Let's talk about the NPP and 2024 elections. And as we talk about all the issues that are coming up, I mean, your name keep popping up as one of the faces that could stand for the presidential candidature. But I haven't heard you talk about it. Do you have presidential ambitions?
Every police recruit wishes that at the end of the day he becomes the IGP.
Definitely.
You understand? So unless anybody who has no ambition would say that they are not interested in the leadership, if people are talking about that, it means they recognize the contribution that I've made in 5 years with that portfolio. And that one, I have no influence on their views. The time to make such a decision will come when the party decides on that. So we'll have to wait until that time. And
come 2024, it is likely that you may put up yourself for the presidential candidate position.
That's your view, isn't it?
You don't fear delegates?
Oh, I mean, no, I think that, you see, in our party, the power for such a decision rests more with the delegates that Afriyie talked about.
Okay.
And I believe in their assessment. Of course, it's their party, so they decide. 95% of the cases is for them. They have that power. So whatever they decide that they are going to do is something that one has to respect.
So if the opportunity presents itself...
Oh, I mean, it's a great honor. I mean, Ghana is a great country, and if your party decides that you are the one that they want you to lead, there couldn't be a bigger honor than that.
Well, we wish you all the best in your efforts to become the IGP in politics.
IGP in NPP.
In NPP. Okay. And I mean, the general IGP for the country, right? Right. But let me ask you this. Which among your children are following your steps?
So far, none of them.
None of them. Agric, politics, none of them.
One is towards agric.
Okay.
In terms of the value chain.
Okay.
I mean, he's very serious about preservation of food as a business.
Okay.
And he has his own company that he's seriously working on, and I think he's been very successful. So on the food side, we are doing very well. Okay. But on the political side, well, I don't see anything on the horizon yet.
But your father trained you. Why are you not training any of them?
Because
or they've not shown
my
interest?
father did it when I was at
a tender age?
Yes, at his feet.
Okay.
My kids have flown out of the... they've flown out long ago. So they have their own influences and so on, not as close as they are with me.
But I'm sure Mrs. Afriyie Akoto and the kids are very much supportive of you, and they're proud of you for your achievements so far.
Naturally. I mean, that is something that I cannot deny at all. I mean, and they've been very supportive, not only in terms of what I'm doing, but also the other things that I do, which is beyond the view of the public.
How many of them?
I have 8 children.
Oh, wow.
Yes, and there's only one woman.
Oh,
girl,
goodness.
Yes.
7 strong men.
Yes, and he's the eldest. She's the eldest. And she has 2 children.
Okay.
A boy and a girl.
Okay.
Who are coming up very, very nicely.
Okay.
I'm very, very proud of my grandchildren.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
Wow, congratulations. They are lucky to have such a liberal father. But I must also say you look very healthy at 72. Oh.
I think it's the genes.
The genes, right?
Yes. I mean, it's a lifestyle as well. I mean, the genes, because my father died at the age of 98.
Wow.
My mother is alive at the age of 94. She still reads the graphic and all of that.
Oh, wow.
You know, and so together with a healthy lifestyle, not doing any excesses, but the regular playing of my tennis and twice a week.
We thank God for your healthy life. And viewers, don't forget, Doc has promised to play tennis with me. You know, I've been perfecting my skills. Today I get the opportunity, and I'm privileged to have him as my coach. So we'll be going to the tennis court to do a little for you. But of course, I know that after a hard day's work, there are some times when you have a quiet moment. What do you do to relax?
I drink some wine. I love wines.
Okay.
The red wine from Bordeaux, my favorites.
Okay.
A glass or 2 does not kill me. So, and then I watch television, football.
Okay.
So, as I told you, my favorite club in England is Tottenham Hotspur. Anytime they are playing, I want to watch it, or it's recorded for me to watch it to relax.
Okay. You listen to music sometimes?
I love the old Ghanaian highlights.
Okay.
You know, I like
the likes of
Uhuru Dance Band. You know, these are, when I was growing up, these were the big bands, you know, Broadway, Uhuru, and all that. And of course, Daddy Lumba, I'm in love with his music.
Okay.
And so
which one of them is your favorite?
All of them.
All of them?
Yes, I mean, just his voice, you know, and the lyrics, the love bit in it, really catches my eye. And then, of course, the others, you know, Amachi Dede. And
is it this one?
Yeah, that's a good one. that's a classic.
Thank you so much, Doc. I must say I'm extremely grateful that you opened up to us. And I want to thank you for the good work. Keep working for Mother Ghana, and God will richly bless you. Viewers, thank you so much for watching. Same time next week, we'll be bringing you another interesting edition on PM Personality Profile. Don't forget, from here, we'll be going to the tennis court to show you some small skills. I'll be perfecting my skills. Doc, I'm privileged that he'll be my coach today. Enjoy the rest of our programs.
This tennis that I'm playing today was for Pogwa. The tennis court was close to my dormitory, St. Luke's dormitory. And you could see from the house these teachers, you call them masters, in their white outfit playing tennis. So it attracted me to the court just to see what was happening. And he stayed with me till today.
Honorable, that was a good game. Viewers, I told you I'll be perfecting my game. I think I'm getting better and better. And thank you so much, Honorable Dr. Afriyie Akoto, for talking to us. Same time next week, another interesting personality will be coming your way on PM Personality Profile. My name is Owusu Afriyie. Enjoy the rest of our programs.